Have you been able to wrap your brain around everything that happened during last week's supersized episode of Westworld? It's okay if you haven't, because that episode was loaded with so much detail, multiple timelines and all sorts of brain-wrinkling goodness to fully digest. But it's time to turn the page from last week and concentrate on the action, drama, suspense, mystery and everything else that took place in Akane no Mai. This was a great episode because it took fans to Shogun World for the first time. And for the second time in 3 weeks, we visited a new park for the first time. 3 weeks ago we were introduced to Westworld, and now it's Shogun World, which Sizemore described as a place for those to visit who think Westworld is too tame. Too tame. Apparently, those humans never visited when William was in town. But Shogun World was certainly much less tame, and we got to see ninjas, which was awesome, and some great action and fight sequences. Hector, Armistice, and their human entourage was taken prisoner by Musashi, who is the Shogun World version of Hector, and taken to a brothel where they met Akane, who is the Shogun World version of Maeve. We saw Dolores and Teddy for the first time in 2 weeks, and the nature of their relationship appears strong on the surface, but below the surface lies an awakening that poor, sweet Teddy did not see coming. Now, let's get to the 5 big things we learned in Akane no Mai, and what it means moving toward the second half of Season 2, beginning with dealers taking stock of their inventory. Page 2. Use your arrows to browse. Credit, Westworld, John P. Johnson, Though we didn't see much of Bernard in this week's episode after he was such an integral part in last week's episode. But the scene he was in began the episode, and we learned that the sea full of dead hosts cost Delos about 1/3 of their IP, according to a disgruntled Carl Strand. We don't know exactly how the hosts all gathered or were sent to the sea, but Bernard is under the impression that he's the one responsible for their death. That shocking reveal was shown in the Season 2 premiere, but we haven't returned to this story in the timeline all that much ever since. Fans certainly will have their own theories about how all the hosts got there and whether Bernard did something to send a signal for all of them to arrive at this spot that doesn't show up on the survey of the park's land, but we know the dead hosts includes Teddy. We saw his dead host body stacked on top of other dead hosts in the opening scenes, so if you had any doubts about who that body was floating at the end of the Season 2 premiere, it's definitely, without question, poor Teddy, who is the best at dying in Westworld. Use your arrows to browse.